actions that have been exacerbated by the Rona. But even after we get past the pandemic, demand won't change here. The cat's been let out of the bag, and there's no putting it back. It's never been easier to spend money, and Lord knows we all love impulse buying. Hey, speaking of impulse buys, how's that plan with Kodak going?
You know what, bro? It's a bit of a sore subject right now.
Oh, sorry, bro. Sorry, that's my bad. Well, moving back on the square, the two companies that are at the forefront of this, click the join button below if you don't want to miss out on watch lists I put out each morning before the market opens, so you don't miss out on the next one. But what about Intel? Ticker symbol INTC has been seriously beat down here, so is this a great opportunity as well? The stock has tanked over 15% in the last 2 trading days, and in my opinion, don't bet on this getting back over those $60 highs anytime soon. They reported second quarter results last week, and as I had mentioned earlier, the release included the shocking announcement that the company's 7nm processors would be delayed by an approximately 6 months. Those chips were initially scheduled to launch in late 2021, so the delay will push that debut back to 2022. Supposedly, Intel is finally starting to ramp up 10nm production, which was also delayed by years, and honestly, who's trusting that right now? Let's not forget that Apple dumping them has been a huge factor that should have played a big one in the company's performance over the last quarter, and after these earnings, investors are finally starting to realize it. In my opinion, Intel eventually goes lower unless they can figure out how to adapt, much like their surging counterpart is doing. Let me know your thoughts on this, though. Is there a light at the end of the tunnel for Intel, or is AMD the new sheriff in town that's here to stay? How Amazon is number 8 and Moderna is number 3 is just beyond me. Last month, you might recall me asking what the they were actually doing over there, as most of their executives were selling shares like crazy, and there was some pretty shady going on. And hey, by the way, do we have an inside look of what they're actually still up to? Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Okay, well, moving on. Number 10 is Nikola. And what the f***? I just don't understand where the value here is with Nikola when another 45,000 of you came into this stock just this month. So it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's the trash trucks, bro. You don't even understand. Those trash trucks are going to send Nikola up. What are you wearing? What? I'm trying to go for the Jordan Belfort look. I'm going to be on Wall Street one day. I gotta dress the part. I gotta talk the part. I don't even know what to say. That accent is terrible. You look ridiculous. You sound like you're a cross between Sylvester Stallone and Christopher Walken. Forget about it. Forget about it. It's not even, bro. Come on. Isn't that close? All right, look. Do we have any idea how much these trash trucks are actually going to be yet? No. Okay, well then how far off are we actually from seeing one of these trucks? Trevor says 2021. Okay, well it's about 3 months from 2021. Has that plant actually been built yet? Is it done being built? That's a no. No. Right. Okay, well, you know what, man? Good luck with that, but I'm just going to have to stay away from this. God, I don't even know what to say to that. That was... Cash card spend was up 50% with the cash balances stored in accounts, which is 86% higher than last quarter alone. This is absolutely incredible, as we are seeing higher demand for frictionless transactions that have been exacerbated by the Rona. But even after we get past the pandemic, demand won't change here. The cat's been let out of the bag, and there's no putting it back. It's never been easier to spend money, and Lord knows we all love impulse buying. Hey, speaking of impulse buys, how's that plan with Kodak going?
You know what, bro? It's a bit of a sore subject right now.
Oh, sorry, bro. Sorry, that's my bad. Well, moving back on the square, the two companies that are at the forefront of this, click the join button below if you don't want to miss out on watch lists I put out each morning before the market opens, so you don't miss out on the next one. But what about Intel? Ticker symbol INTC has been seriously beat down here, so is this a great opportunity as well? The stock has tanked over 15% in the last 2 trading days, and in my opinion, don't bet on this getting back over those $60 highs anytime soon. They reported second quarter results last week, and as I had mentioned earlier, the release included the shocking announcement that the company's 7-nanometer processors would be delayed by an approximately 6 months. Those chips were initially scheduled to launch in late 2021, so the delay will push that debut back to 2022. Supposedly, Intel is finally starting to ramp up 10-nanometer production, which was also delayed by years, and honestly, who's trusting that right now? Let's not forget that Apple dumping them has been a huge factor that should have played a big one in the company's performance over the last quarter, and after these earnings, investors are finally starting to realize it. In my opinion, Intel eventually goes lower unless they can figure out how to adapt, much like their surging counterpart is doing. Let me know your thoughts on this, though. Is there a light at the end of the tunnel for Intel, or is AMD the new sheriff in town that's here to stay? What is up, guys? If you guys were sad because the stock market is closed tomorrow, this is your fix right now. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Stock Watch Sunday. It's Brad here. It's Christian there. What's going on? Again, you guys never cease to amaze me. There's so many of you out there that just have nothing but love and support for the channel, for everything that we're trying to do and accomplish, and you guys are just absolutely incredible. We have so many members that have showed up in the Chaos Crew this past week. It's been unbelievable, and there's just been, I don't know, just so much crazy stuff happening last week, so much to get into this week. We got, the markets were down. They might go back up. Tesla got snubbed out of the S&P 500, and we'll talk about that later in the show. Where it was right, where it was wrong coming up. Also, the top 5 stocks that we're watching this week. All happening within 4 short days, coming up. So this is so much to go over, but let me go ahead and welcome some folks in here. First of all, welcome, Christian. What's going on, man?
What's up, man? I was hoping you'd welcome me. Yo, the Chaos Crew is going like gangbusters. We're taking over the world, bro.
It is fire. It is fire.
I'll tell you what, Steve King said, is it Stock Watch Sunday since it's technically Saturday? You bet your ass it is, Steve. You're here, aren't you? It's Sunday.
That's right.
I'm here. It's funny because I forgot I'm on the video, but I'm literally here like reading these on my phone, and Sam M put, anybody buying Schiller Workhorse? And in my mind, it said shit.
So
if you guys see me laughing, it's because I'm reading comments.
It's the same thing. But yeah, no, let me go ahead and welcome some folks in here as we have Where It Was Right, Where It Was Wrong coming up in just a moment. But what's up, Jose? Good to see you, Bodie Beard. Eric, Jungle Brav. What's up, Savage Ray? Good to see you guys. It's just, you guys are incredible. 256 in here. We're just getting started. There's so many of you waiting just for the show to go live, and that's just awesome to me. It's really cool to see you guys hanging around. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. There's a ton that happened last week, and there's so much to explain about, and I had a really hard time with the where it was right, where it was wrong. But let's just go ahead and get into it.
When Brad was right.
So, Zoom. I said that they would crush earnings, and my God, did Zoom crush earnings. Absolutely incredible. I called this going over $325 by the end of the week. Turns out that was a freaking joke. It went up to $489 highs. And we go ahead and look at here over on Webull, which, by the way, if you're not a part of Webull or want to be part of Webull, looking to open up a new account, if you're sick of Thinkorswim, check the links down in the description. This is one that I just opened up and have a public account for. The Chaos Crew folks know all about it. They see everything that I buy into. And so, this is something that's really it just took off. And obviously, it's pulled back towards the end of the week. But this past quarter, their revenue was more this past quarter than it was for the entire 2019 year. So it's just an absolutely insane run on Zoom. And Christian and I called this one. And even if you were able to get into Zoom before earnings or had Zoom before earnings, you're still very much in the green despite this insane pullback on it, because it was sitting at $2.99 as of last Stockwatch Sunday, still up $369 as of the close on Friday. So this one was absolutely insane. I still love Zoom. You're asking me if it's still worth holding on to. If you have some shares, if you've taken some profit, that's exactly what you should be doing. But I think you should be, holding on to some. I think this continues to go higher eventually. Rocket came in and beat earnings as expected, but the reaction was not pretty, as we all saw for pretty much all of the earnings this week. It was an amazing first couple of days of the week last week, and then everything kind of fizzled out. But Rocket did beat earnings. I was correct about that. And we're going to get into the where I was wrong part because it's very interesting. But anyways, I was right about earnings. And I think that they continue to go up, after things start to settle out and the market starts to turn back around. The reason I say this is because the only outlook that they gave, and one of the biggest reasons they sold off, was because they kind of gave a little bit of a, I don't want to call it a warning, but just put everybody on notice that, hey, winter's coming, and you can insert your Game of Thrones reference there, but the things slow down in the wintertime. And so I guess people didn't really care for that. They didn't like that. But listen, the real estate market, especially with the residential real estate market, is hot. No signs of it slowing down anytime soon. I think Rocket continues to do well here. CrowdStrike said they would annihilate earnings. And they did, as we all know they did, but then obviously the entire market took a dump as well. I think this is a really good opportunity to get in on the cheap for CrowdStrike. I actually ended up buying some CrowdStrike myself after earnings and the sell-off. So I think that this is a really good one to grab onto. We'll go ahead and look at the chart here as well. You can see here that it's pulled back and started to actually make a little bit of a nice, decent run at the end of Friday. So I think we can get this back up over 135. This should do well and try to retest those all-time highs. But CrowdStrike was an absolute stunner last week. DocuSign, this is one I'm actually going to bring Christian in on because estimated earnings per share was at 8 cents, and they beat it at 17 cents a share. Again, it sold off as everything else did, but Christian said that they would not beat earnings. And I said my bold prediction, because he called me out trying to see if I was going to actually sugarcoat everything to say I was right this week. But my bold prediction on this was 15 cents a share. I was only off by 2 cents. And so, yeah, look, DocuSign I think is still a buy. And Christian, I think you probably would say it's still a buy as well.
Yeah, I like DocuSign. Screw you.
Last one here is Smith & Wesson, and I said they would beat. Estimated earnings per share was 39 cents, came in at 86, and they crushed it. Again, in my opinion, this is buy the effing dip. I still own it, still feel confident in this going into the election as well. I mean, record gun sales. Look, everything was coming down, so I think the SWBI or Smith & Wesson is going to be a steal here at $18 where it closed out on Friday. Now, here's the interesting thing, and I'm going to do this.
When Brad was wrong.
I didn't expect the stock market to tank the last half of the week. So some of these price predictions that I had for DocuSign and CrowdStrike and Smith & Wesson, including Rocket, the only one that really kind of panned out and stayed there was Zoom, even though it went bonkers on Monday night. That's the thing with earnings, and really you can't do much about earnings. They could have done double whatever the earnings expectations were, and it still would have sold off because of how the rest of the market was reacting. So we always talk about how holding through earnings, there's always inherent risk as far as that's concerned. And we always try to play things that lead up into earnings, and then if you want to hold on to some shares, that's your prerogative. But also playing the after earnings come out and looking for opportunities there. And so, in my opinion, I think there were some really good opportunities on all of them, especially as the market continued to come down. We're going to talk about what we think the market's going to be doing later. But there you have it. That's where I was right, where I was wrong. I think things are going to come back this week, but we'll get into that in just a little bit. Before we get into the top 5 stocks I'm watching this week, I'm going to just see how everybody's doing. What's going on, Hope? Where's
Don's in the house. Don, Fran, and Jake are in the house.
Hey, by the way,
Trade HQ fam.
By the way, Don Fran, yeah, so everybody who doesn't know, Don is also another mentor within our group, within our We Trade HQ family. And so is Jake. Jake's actually my partner at WeTradeHQ.com. If you guys want to go check it out, links are in the description, and we'll talk about the mentorship here in a little bit where it lives. But Don crossed over 10,000 subscribers, which was awesome. I mean, he's still rolling. He's like at 10.4. And Jake also crossed over 10,000 subscribers this weekend too. So we're all killing it, man. We're all killing it. So make sure you give them a follow. Again, it's Jake Amaral. If you guys are interested in learning how to build algorithms and trading bots and that sort of thing, he's your guy. And then Don is also an all-around utility man, but really kind of is pretty strong in the options game as well. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, go check him out. But yeah, really incredible stuff.
How many we got live?
What's that?
How many we got live?
We got
how many confirmed?
331 live. We got 83 likes, so maybe we can try to get those up as well. That's kind of weak sauce in my opinion. Yeah, appreciate it, guys. All right, so the top 5 stocks that I'm watching this week. First one is Work or Slack, ticker symbol WRK. If I can type, WRK. Estimated earnings per share is at a loss of 3 cents. I think they come in positive and beat earnings. Second quarter is where they saw the most demand, kind of like what we saw with all the other tech stocks. And I think they do well. My bold prediction for the end of the year of Slack was $45. I know this sounds crazy, but I still stand by that. And I think that they get a kickstart with the earnings that come out this coming week. Now, again, earnings are after hours on Tuesday. First quarter, they added 12,000 paid customers. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say they double that in the second quarter.
Wow.
What say you, Cashier?
I think they beat. I agree with you. I think I don't necessarily say they'll crush it. I think they beat. I'm not a big fan of Slack, just to be honest with you. As a platform, it's cool. I don't love how the business is run as far as I don't think they've done enough to monetize. And one of the key statistics that not a lot of people are talking about is Slack, 20% of their customers come from travel, ride sharing, hospitality, or retail, which is something to consider compared to its competitors. So I think they do beat slightly, but I'm not a huge fan of them long-term, although it's at really good price levels.
Yeah. And those are all fair points, I think. One of the other things, though, I think one of their biggest clients is Shopify. So, retail side of things as well. And they are huge fans of Slack. And it is interesting. I think that either you love the platform or you hate it. I think that there's a huge wave of younger folks that are coming into the workforce that may end up starting to adopt this a little bit more easily than most. They do have obvious competitors with Microsoft, especially with Teams starting to get a little bit more sophisticated. So there's definitely arguments that can be made here. I do like it, though. But as far as entries are concerned, I think anything under $30 is a steal for Work. And if this can somehow get back up above $31 a share, we should see a nice continuation. But it'll be interesting to see how it all works out on Tuesday because of how the market has been. And we'll just kind of have to keep an eye on what futures hold for us tomorrow night and all that good stuff. But hopefully we have a strong start to the week in Slack. Next one is going to be Restoration Hardware. And this is one that I'm actually excited for in particular because this isn't one that people really talk about a whole lot, but it's had a fairly decent pullback, and I think that this is going to be one that really is a gift as far as the rest of the market turning down over the last couple of days, because I think they absolutely crush earnings here. Their estimated earnings, this is after hours on Wednesday, they come out, estimated earnings per share, $3.36. I do say that they beat, that's a huge number, but I think that they beat that. The important thing here, though, is the outlook. It's almost a given that I think that they beat earnings, but the outlook's going to be super important, especially as we get into winter months and that sort of thing. What's the outlook? Can they actually keep going like this? I think it's probably not sustainable, so that'll be interesting to see how the market reacts to that as far as growth is concerned. But hey, maybe it doesn't. I mean, if the residential real estate is still going bonkers, then RH should go bonkers as well. As far as entries are concerned, in my opinion, I think that if you can get it under 310, then we should probably see this run into earnings after hours on Wednesday. What you got, man?
I think they beat. what's working for them. So they raised their earnings estimate at the end of July, which looks good, makes me feel good about their earnings. You wouldn't raise it if you don't feel good about it. And so I feel like that's a reason for beat. I like the company as well as a brand. I think it's a great brand. I would be hesitant to hold through earnings. I wouldn't feel confident holding through earnings. So I'm in line with you on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would be holding through earnings either. I think the play here is just to be in it in anticipation of the run up into earnings, and I'm not sure I would want to be holding any afterwards, because I think what'll end up happening is that there's going to be a lot of hype surrounded around this, and they would have to absolutely annihilate this this expectation of 336 for it to continue. And so if they don't absolutely knock this out of the ballpark, I think we will see a sell-off. So playing the run into earnings, I think, is a big play here for RH, but I like this one a lot. Peloton. I'm sure a lot of you guys were waiting on Peloton. So Peloton's one that I've been in and out of Peloton since the 30s. I've been swing trading this one like crazy. It's just been an absolute monster. They have earnings on Thursday, and this is one that we will be going live for. Christian and I will go live for Peloton's earnings. That'll be at 3:45 on Thursday, 3:45 p.m. Eastern time. And we're going to hang around with you guys and just kind of see what Peloton does. Their estimated earnings per share are at 9 cents. My bold prediction here is that I say that Peloton comes in at $0.25 per share. And we see this over $100 this week at some point. The big key here, though, in my opinion, will be that can they keep up with the demand? We've seen them struggle with this over the last couple of months. You order a Peloton bike, and it takes 7 to 8 weeks for you to get it. And so it's a good problem to have, but it can turn into a not so good problem if you can't get yourself efficient enough and start producing more so that you can get the product out quicker. So can they keep up with demand? That'll be the big key, in my opinion, as far as these earnings are concerned. Christian, go. What you got?
I got a lot for Peloton. So because I care about the crew, I spent a lot of time on this one. I actually went to Peloton's website. They're advertising 2 to 4 weeks max. And I've spoken to people who have ordered the bike and it's been less than 2 weeks. So I think they're just trying to cover their butt saying 4 weeks, but it looks like it's under 2 weeks, where it was last quarter was 6 to 8 weeks minimum.
Yeah.
So that's huge. And if they can cut that number down even more, that's great. Here's some cool things to think about for Peloton. They've got news on the street, people, if you haven't heard this. So they're lowering the price of their current bike. So they're lowering it by 15%. And apparently either on earnings or leading up, they're going to announce a higher end bike, which is awesome. New product line. And they have a more affordable treadmill, which we talked about for months, but we should expect to hear that soon. So all those things are great opportunities. But I agree, they crush it. I'm going to say maybe not 25 cents, but I put down before the show, I said 15 cents a share. The key is really increased guidance.
Yeah.
But I have so much data on this. If we can get the likes up to a serviceable number, at least 50%, I'm going to do a breakdown of the fundamentals and the guidance in the last earnings on Thursday, which I think is going to be really interesting. There's so much stuff we can't cover it here, but there's so much good information that leads me to believe that they're going to crush it. They're going to be positive earnings, and they're going to start really bringing in money.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the biggest reasons why we've seen upgrades from analysts to 110 plus on Peloton. And so I think the recent dip in the market has allowed for some really good gifts here, especially on Peloton, which, again, as I mentioned, I ended up buying the dip on this one on Friday as well. And we mentioned it previously, but if you're a part of the Chaos Crew, you would know that. And so if you're looking to be a part of the Chaos Crew and see exactly what I'm buying every single day, check out my portfolio and the daily watch list that we put out and the secret private live streams that we do as well. Click the join button next to subscribe. We're working on 700 members in there, and which is absolutely incredible. You guys are amazing. The Chaos Crew is an incredible community. You want to be part of it. It's $5 a month. So click the join button, come on over and hang out with us. We'd love to have you. And Peloton, by the way, we were all over this in the 30s. So Chaos Crew.
1930s. Yes.
That's right. That's right. Flappers and everything. So it was like pre-prohibition is pretty much how long we've been hanging around the Chaos Crew. But that there you have for Peloton. Next is going to be Kroger. This is the non-sexy pick of the week. It's Kroger, and estimated earnings per share at 51 cents. I say they beat in and come around to 65 is kind of where I'm thinking earnings could come around here a share. Kroger, like I said, isn't sexy, but it's one of the things we've learned if there's one thing we've learned this earnings season, it's the big box stores and the grocery stores, convenience stores, all those related. We saw Dollar General and Dollar Tree absolutely kill it. Kroger's in the same vein. I think they absolutely they crush it as well. The thing is with Kroger is that it doesn't move all that much. And so I think that there's definitely some other areas of opportunity. If you're looking for something in this space, maybe you want to gravitate towards, Amazon, especially with Whole Foods and stuff like that. And Christian, I know you wanted to speak on that as well. But just for me to close out my thoughts here, I think that there's going to be better plays in this space, but I think that Kroger crushes it, and you could play it for a couple a pop here. If they end up coming in and beating it, we could see this move up above $35. $36 a share, maybe even getting to those all-time highs of $37.22 if they come in and beat.
Yeah, I think they beat. I agree with you. They are unsexy. I think the person who gets Kroger is somebody who's long-term investing, wants something a little bit safer.
Yeah.
And with Kroger, like the fundamentals are good. They have small margins, but they're just kind of steady Eddie. But I agree with you. If you're going to go in this space, to put this in perspective, you have Kroger, who has 10% of the market. Walmart's the leader in market share with 22%. And you mentioned Amazon, which you'll group Whole Foods in there. They only have 2.2% of the market.
Yep.
So to kind of level set that, Walgreens has 2.2% of the market. So do you believe with everything that Amazon's doing with their virtual grocery stores or with their contactless solutions, if you look at Amazon Go, check it out, like the Whole Foods Go, what they're doing with their technology, to say it's going to double or quadruple, I think is very conservative in their market share. So I love what Amazon's doing with Whole Foods, and to take over that market share and the technology they're coming up with, I think it's going to be insane.
Yep, I agree. And to your point, I mean, Warren Buffett is, recently in Kroger as well back in February. So, I mean, it probably plays to folks like that who are just looking for something that's steady growth. They're not looking to look at it every day. But that being said, we had to talk about it this week, and I think Kroger does well.
Everybody drink. That being said.
That's right. I forgot about that. I need a soundbite for that. But last but not least is Etsy. And this one, they were included in the S&P 500. This is the catalyst for Etsy this week. The only one this week's not really the earnings, but this, I think, in my opinion, will be a monster. It already was leading into after hours trading on Friday. And I think that they continue to crush this. This is something that, guys, I've been such a huge fan of Etsy, and kind of pounding my fist on the desk here on the table, just trying to get people to understand and see what Etsy really is. And it looks now like the S&P 500 agrees. They are going to absolutely continue to run. I think they end up breaking up over all-time highs here at 144 within the next 2 weeks, most likely. They've tripled storefronts since the Rona happened. They are just growing at an explosive rate. The nice thing about this is that the S&P 500 doesn't appreciate extreme volatility. And Etsy has not been extremely volatile as far as price action on the stock is concerned. So it's not going to create a whole lot of weight to just sway the S&P one way or the other. And we're going to talk about the Tesla snubbing here in a second. But give me your thoughts, Christian, here real quick on Etsy and where you think it might be headed as well.
Yeah, and I want everybody to know, a couple of people mentioned Tesla. We're going to bring that up. We wanted to include Tesla, but we feel like we're always watching it.
Yeah.
So we wanted to get something different.
Yeah.
And before that, kudos to you, bro, because you've been calling out Etsy from the beginning.
Yeah.
I feel like you were the first one to do it.
Yeah.
But all right, so it's a monster. Like, I love Etsy. It's awesome. Couple things to consider. Obviously, this S&P inclusion is awesome. It's positive news. I'm interested. I think it's going to just continue to crush it. It's one of those companies like Zoom and Peloton. Even if we open back up, it's here to stay, people.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, Etsy, I think, is a great company. The only challenge I think it really faces is Facebook Marketplace. Like, that's going to be interesting to see because Facebook Marketplace is easier, but everything else you look at, you've got to be extremely bullish on this company. The gig economy, I don't think jobs are going to come back like people think. I think people are going to be looking for extra money. I think that's a great opportunity. And here's a little stat I pulled up. I'm trying to look for little stats that people don't know about. Did you know, Brad, that 83% of sellers on Etsy are women?
I did not know that. That's incredible.
That's huge opportunity for growth. And so if you can see more men coming in and increasing that growth as well, to me, that's an opportunity. So I love Etsy. Their fundamentals are great, especially for being so young. I'm looking for increased guidance and I'm looking for free cash flow. All that stuff is good, but they've been increasing their margin, increasing their cash flow. So as long as that trend continues and the guidance goes up, look for this thing to keep running, man.
Yeah, I mean, for the last, I think 2 or 3 months, it's been the number one place to buy a mask as well. No platform has been selling masks more than Etsy as well. But that 83% of women who sell on Etsy, that's incredible. I mean, I kind of had a feeling 83% were buying from Etsy, just a hunch. but selling is a whole different ballgame. That's incredible. So yeah, appreciate the insights there. And with that, Tesla was excluded from the S&P 500, and as Etsy ended up getting in. And I'm going to give my thoughts on this. And I think one of my biggest reasons as to why I think that Tesla did not get in, and we'll probably end up seeing a little bit of a sell-off on Tesla or continued sell-off on Tesla because everybody was expecting it to happen. It just didn't. I think one of the biggest things is, and Don and I even had this conversation as well, but it's too volatile, and the massive amount of market cap space that this has would influence the S&P so much that we could see $50 swings per day on the S&P 500 or more because of just how volatile Tesla has been. And Don's point was that we had a private conversation about Tesla, and he was just saying, like, I think that the S&P also wants to see them prove themselves a little bit more, like, as far as profitability is concerned, that sort of thing. All the type of movement we've seen on Tesla has been like stuff that people are seeing way out into the future, still kind of somewhat speculative, nothing too crazy, but there's definitely a little bit more that Tesla has to prove and probably be a little bit less volatile in order for the S&P to feel comfortable including them into the index.
Yeah, for sure. And this is a topic for another conversation, but we've mentioned in the Chaos Crew that it's like 44% institutions hold Tesla, whereas Etsy's 91%.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a little bit more predictability, and that might lend itself to less volatility with Etsy as well.
Yep.
Because they're not on emotion, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a great point as well. Which leads
stats, baby. Call me stats.
which kind of leads us into the overall market this week as well. I pulled up something that was interesting. That Reuters put out an article stated that SoftBank has been injecting a ridiculous amount of money into the markets, and that could be a reason why we saw such a surge in the tech sector. In particular, SoftBank injected roughly about $4 billion building up stakes in Amazon, Netflix, Tesla, Microsoft, and Google. According to their regulatory filings, SoftBank's options of $4 billion generated an exposure of about $50 billion, according to Wall Street Journal. Multiple sources have reached out for comment from SoftBank, but nothing from them. And so this could have very well influenced the market, especially if it comes to light that SoftBank has been selling a lot over these last several days that kind of created this panic. Now, the market itself was overvalued and it needed a correction. And we're still very much in a correction. I'm not ready to call it a crash just yet. So I think that there's definitely some things that happened because everybody was trying to figure out what's the catalyst. Why was this selling off? And so maybe that could have been something that triggered it. But in my opinion, I think this is just a little bit of a bump in the road. I've been adding to dips over the last several days. I think Tuesday could be something where we see a little bit of a continued sell-off. But leading into the end of the week, I think we see some of that buying return. And I don't think that this dip lasts forever. I think we start to see this turn right back around. We could end up seeing a rally into the election, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, look at the weekly chart. Look at the monthly. Like, look at any chart in since March. It needed to cool off. It needed to come back. And I feel like we've gotten so comfortable to see these ridiculous gains and the NASDAQ run and everything run in tech, part justified. But like at some point, the run is too much and it's got to pull back, because you can't just say, what if it's up 1,000%? And then it pulls back, 20%. Does that mean that it's a crash? No, it's just a pullback. So this beginning of this week will be interesting. I'm going to probably sit on my hands at the beginning of the week.
Yep.
But from, like you said, leading up to the election, for sure, I think we're still trending up.
Yeah. And the whole SoftBank stuff was crazy too. I mean, $50 billion is not chump change. So if that much money was being leveraged into just those 5 positions, that's absolutely insane, especially from the option side of things. So, I think that I've never been a fan of SoftBank. I mean, especially ever since the WeWork debacle. They're very much let's just throw money at things and see what happens. And so it seems as if they were doing the same thing here. Hopefully, it doesn't create even more of a panic. But either way, I think that looking for areas of opportunity are going to pay off for you folks. So it's very much buy the F and dip at this point. Where could we see it land? I could see the NASDAQ maybe landing, I don't know, maybe we could get it back to 11,000 flat probably, and we could eventually end up seeing a bounce. I don't think it lasts forever, though. I think we see a quick sell-off, and then buying will probably end up starting to return here. And that's it, guys, as far as what we were here to discuss. Now, you guys know at the towards the end of the stream, we just get to you guys for questions. We have 577 concurrents in here.
Nice.
And 167 likes. So if we could get the likes up, certainly would appreciate that. Again, if you want to be a part of the Chaos Crew, click the join button. And before we get into questions, I wanted to also extend the invite to you guys to check out our mentorship over at WeTrade HQ. Every morning, I go live from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time. And we basically do what we're doing here, but it's live trading. You get to see me make live trades. The mistakes, the successes, all of that stuff happens in there, and it's a great community to be part of. It's not just a one-man show either. Everybody's helping each other out. It's a great place to be. For the first time in 2.5 years, I'm raising the prices. So after tomorrow or Tuesday at midnight, the price goes up to $79.99 from its $49.99 a month price right now. So if you guys want to be grandfathered into that price, check the link down in the description below and enter the code SUMMER. You get a free 30 days, and then you're grandfathered into that $49.99 price for as long as you're in it, and don't leave, obviously, and come back. So
I just want to clarify, because a couple of people were asking. So the Chaos Crew is through the YouTube channel.
Yep.
And so we did the top 5 stocks. We do that every Sunday. Well, so if you're a part of the Chaos Crew, Brad will send out his top 5 stocks every day at 8:30 a.m. before the market opens. So it's similar. It's a write-up, it's a breakdown. And so that's the Chaos Crew. Now the mentorship lives off of YouTube, and that's every morning before the market opens. Brad goes live, and we're in a Zoom chat just like this, and it's more interactive where you can ask questions. When the market opens, you could see what's going on, and Brad talks about what he's trading and what's going on in the market. So those two pieces are very similar to what we're offering.
Yep. So, we really need to just rebrand the mentorship anyway.
We rebrand both.
Yeah.
And so I know we're about to get questions, but we love hearing where people are from. So I want to know where you're from. Shout out where you're from all over the world. Tell us.
This is my favorite part because the chat's about to blow up.
Well, while we're waiting, I want you to do something because I forgot to do it last week.
Yeah.
The people want to know, what is the cheesecloth condom pick of the week, please, sir?
Oh my God, you put me on the spot. What is the cheesecloth condom pick of the week? It's got to be Shill. And I'm not saying that it's not going to continue to go up, but
Yeah. Show.
yeah, SHLL, Taurus Acquisitions. Look, there's a lot of hype surrounded around this. People are expecting the merger to go through, and I'm sure it'll continue to run. But be careful with this. I'm sure this has a Nikola type response, and people are going to hate me for saying this, but it's going to pop. It's probably going to go bonkers, and it's going to sell off immediately, just like Nikola did. And we can see that back on the chart here. For Nikola, this thing went straight up. When the merger went through, it went straight up over 2 days from $41 to like 90 some dollars, $93 and some change, and did nothing but sell off, and has continued to come down. It's never gone back up since then. So I think we see a similar move from SHLL. So can you make money on it? Sure, trade it, but don't marry this thing like a lot of people have been marrying Nikola, because I don't think that we're gonna see some offerings. The thing's gonna settle down. It's not going to be pretty after that initial push. So be careful with that. That's my cheesecloth condom of the pick of the week.
Nice, bro. We got Ocean City, Maryland in the house. Ocean City, hon. Let me tell you something, Josh Tillman. Anybody from Maryland has to be a Chaos Crew member. It's almost disrespectful if you're not
really
supporting.
is.
We're Maryland people. We live in Maryland.
Support local business.
Yeah, we got Ocean City. We got the UK. We got Toronto. We got everywhere.
That's
this
awesome.
is so good.
Costa Rica.
Oh, bienvenidos.
That's awesome. You guys are incredible. I mean, this is one of my favorite parts is just seeing where people are from. We got Wyoming. Trials. It's Richard. Yeah, nice to see you, man. Bristol, UK. Hell yeah, that's awesome. So let's get on to the questions, man. What do you guys got for me?
All right, here we go. So the first question is from Nick Mendo, regular extraordinaire. Brad, how long do you trade for every day? Do you trade from open to close?
That's a great question. So I'm always monitoring the stock market from open to close, but I'm not trading all day, every day. Sometimes there's instances where I don't make a trade at all. A lot of people have the misconception that just because the stock market's open means that you have to trade, and that's not always the case. Sometimes your setups just aren't there, or the market isn't acting right, and it's super risky or super choppy, and there's not anything that I'm seeing that I like, so then I just hold off. I sit on my hands and wait for a good opportunity to grab some shares. So, no, I don't. I would say probably on average, though, I make about 2 to 3 trades a day. That's usually my average.
All right. Shout out to Stevens Romerick, first time viewer.
Oh man, welcome, bro. Hopefully you get some value out of this and at least subscribe to the channel. Would love to have you back, man.
Okay, so next question. So there's a few people asking about Fastly. Your thoughts on Fastly?
Yeah, so Fastly, this is another one that's kind of in the same boat as all the other tech stocks. You guys know that I'm always been a huge fan of Fastly, and that hasn't changed. My sentiments for Fastly has not changed in the least. This one I did end up dropping out of after I played this run here. I ended up making a trade from about $79 and ran it all the way up to around 96. Sold, didn't sell quite at the top, but made a decent profit, and was waiting for this to cool off. It just went too fast, too quick, kind of like everything else over the last 2 weeks, and so it needed a pullback. And I still like Fastly. I still think we get this up over $100 a share. We got pretty damn close this past week. I think we end up trying to retest that. If you could look to see maybe this bounces off of $70.54 again, I don't think that we see it, honestly, though. We get this back up over if we can get this back up over 90, that seems to be the resistance for it. And once it breaks over $90 a share, it really likes to run. So those are the areas that I'd look for Fastly. But yes, I'm still very much a fan of the company.
All right, next question is from Emmanuel Golab. Question of the week. People have been comparing Tesla to the .com bubble crash. So the question is Tesla a bubble waiting to pop, or does it have plenty of room to grow in terms of stock price?
I think it still has plenty of room to grow. I think that with it going crazy over the last couple of weeks, especially after announcing the split, it makes sense that it's going to be selling off the way that it is. We go back and look at Tesla. The chart tells us that 380 seems to be a relatively decent area of support. I mean, it sold off after hours to 391. If by some chance it breaks below 375, it could go quite a bit lower. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but I would be looking for areas to buy Tesla because it's going right back up, in my opinion. There's got a lot of catalysts that are coming. We got Battery Day coming up. Also, I mean, I still don't believe that the S&P will be including them anytime soon, but there's also some dates that the S&P could end up doing it if they chose to do so. But I'm not totally convinced that they will. There's just some anticipation. And then there's earnings that are coming up right around the quarter in early October. So, I mean, I think that there's definitely some really good catalysts coming up for Tesla that would be worth that grabbing the dip on, and the company's not going anywhere anytime soon.
I feel like we should set up a whole separate live stream just for Tesla.
Just buy it. Just buy it.
The next question's from Robin Ruane. Do you think companies like Blink and Plug do better if Tesla does well?
Yes and no. I mean, the EV craze isn't just limited to Tesla anymore, even though Tesla's leading the charge. The thing is, though, with Plug and BLNK, companies like this, they're priced down here for a reason, and it's because they still have a ways to go to become a good company. Their balance sheets aren't where they need to be. They have a ton of debt. A lot of it's convertible debt, so which means that they're turning, they're selling shares into the market in order to raise capital, and so it's going to struggle, I think, for a little while until they can really prove themselves as a legit company.
All right. Hey, Hope, don't be. Oh, finally, Robin, thank you. Join. We're going to go without a new member. I was getting a little.
Robin, welcome to the Chaos Crew, man.
Woo! Oh, no. Is that woo or is that hell yeah?
That's a hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Give me a hell yeah.
Hope, don't be calling me out of my government name. You be telling people my name is Cashier or Fat Man Zoom. You know better. At least you spelled it right. All right. Next question is from Ajay. Another member. Walgreens is a good buy right now. The pharmacy chain has reached a deal with Village MD to staff and operate 500 to 700 clinics within 5 years.
What was that ticker again?
Walgreens.
Oh, Walgreens. Look, if I had to go with Walgreens or something else in this space, I would go with something else. I actually like Rite Aid a little bit better. These are all a little bit tough to trade right now, but I would go with CVS or Rite Aid over Walgreens. Their balance sheets are okay. They have dividends, but it's done nothing but go down for the last 2 months, and I'm not digging it. We go and look at something like Rite Aid. It's a bit of a different story. This has gone in the other direction. Obviously, it's been tailing off over the last couple of days with everything else, but it looks really good. They have a lot more promise. Their earnings have been exceptional over the last 2 quarters, and I think that they do well moving forward. So if I would have my choice, I'd rather be in Rite Aid or even CVS over Walgreens.
All right. Steve King, another regular. Steve King's always with us, man. We got to show him love.
Love me some Steve King.
Would you consider LLY a good buy? They have dipped and I've been wanting some for a while. That sounds uncomfortable. It sounds weird for me saying that. I've been wanting some for a while.
Give me some of that. Lily, look, this is another one that I think could probably be, by the way, I think that we should start drinking every time I say look now. Yeah. Josh Tillman in the house. You talked him into it.
Make sure you drink with your Own the Chaos flask.
But Josh Tillman, appreciate the love, man. He is officially in the Chaos Crew. We got our Marylander, so thanks for joining, man.
Nice.
So as far as Lily is concerned, Steve, this looks like it's starting to make it turn back up. We might see this come up and retest this gap fill up here at around 154.45. It's a great company. I think it's going to continue here. That's the next area it's got to get through before we start to see this continue. And then the next area of resistance could be 165. So if I was to say, where I would have gotten in, probably would have been at 148.50. If by some chance you can get in at the low 150 range, that probably would be a relatively decent entry as it starts to make its way back up to 154 to 156. So I like Lilly a lot. They have a great company. They have an amazing CEO. They're doing some good things over there. So like them a lot.
All right. Next question, Donald Ryan. Do you think S&P on Friday was just moving stocks from mid-cap 400 to S&P 500? and the 3 being replaced, moving back down to S&P mid cap?
I'm not sure I understand what he's saying.
I mean, I guess it's more like, what do you attribute the move on Friday?
Like why they rebalanced, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, the S&P rebalances all the time. Once a quarter usually is the most common time that they rebalance, and it was just time for them to rebalance. Sometimes they do it because if there's particular stocks that are weighing down the index or influencing the index too much, any one particular stock, or if the company is performing too poorly and other companies are doing well enough to be accepted into it, just like we saw with Etsy, very deserving of being in the S&P 500. Then they make those decisions. I don't think there's really any other method to that madness. They've been doing it the same way for decades.
King Bradicus, haven't talked about weed stocks in a while. Well, if you were in the Chaos Crew, we did. Any thoughts on TLRY?
King Bradicus, I think, is. He's an OG.
Oh, yeah, he is. King Bradicus is.
Yeah,
I guess Friday Q&A we talked about it.
He must have missed it. But CGC, King Bradicus is great. Back in the day when I allowed calls, he was my first caller. First caller ever was King Bradicus. It's a hell of a name, by the way.
Nice. That is a solid name. We want all of our Chaos Crew members to have wrestler names, and that definitely counts.
That's a damn good name. Yeah, we had some really good wrestler names. We had, I don't know, Buzz something the other day. But no, so as far as weed stocks are concerned, my sentiments remain the same with this. And we talked about this on Friday with the Chaos Crew folks. And this is something that I look at, and the lack of federal funding is killing the cannabis industry, and it's really tough for them to kind of go anywhere without taking out massive amounts of debt. We saw Aurora Cannabis go through a recent reverse split because they can't stop converting debt fast enough. They have $20 million plus of convertible shares to continue to dump into the stock because they need to raise capital somehow. If they're not able to get it from the federal government, and even getting loans, federally insured loans, is a tough task for these companies. And so it's just really tough. If there's a weed stock that I'm going to go with, though, it's going to be Canopy Growth. I have it pulled up here. CGC is the one that I would consider going into. But honestly, I hate the sector right now until we see some improvement as far as the federal support's concerned.
All right. C Mike, any thoughts on CureVac if it continues to run past 62 and get back to the 80 high, supposedly being backed by Tesla and Microsoft?
CureVac, is that here we go.
Is it CVAC? Is that it?
Yeah, I think so. So I mean, this seems kind of risky, to be honest with you. It's gone from 36.15 all the way up to 85 and it's fizzled out, coming down around 63.45. The backing sounds great. I don't know much about the company from a fundamental standpoint, but the chart, it's hard to kind of really determine what the heck's going on here. We saw at least a little bit of movement on this late in the day on Friday. I just don't know how much further it's going to go. IPOs are always risky unless it's a really solid company, and one of the exceptions to that rule was Rocket recently, but don't know much about this one. Just understand that this is going to be pretty rocky and pretty volatile, probably until, I don't know, people start figuring out exactly what direction the company's headed in. So if you want to trade it, looks as if it's kind of established a relatively decent support around $55, 54 and 3/4, somewhere around there. And so if you can see this come down and potentially bounce from those areas, might be a solid trade. But I wouldn't want to be married to this one just yet.
Don asked if you and me wanted to be on his show tomorrow.
Tomorrow night? Yeah, maybe. Tomorrow night might work, yeah. Because he goes later in the day, right? Yeah, so it'd be good. Yeah,
I believe it's 7 p.m. Eastern. Don, tell us when. But Don's jealous about the Flash, too. Everybody's asking about my YouTube channel for whatever reason. I've got enough trying to help these people out. There is potentially a YouTube channel in the future. There's a low-key one.
Yeah.
But you may see a Fat Man Zoom channel sometime, but once we got to get the Chaos Crew, the only chaos where it needs to be first.
Yeah.
You can find me here, people. And with that said, that was it, man. I think I do want to follow up with Don. We talked about Don a couple times. So a lot of people are asking about Tesla. Don actually does like Tesla Tuesdays where he does a video on it. So if you want to join, if you want to check out his live stream tomorrow, he usually goes live every Sunday, but he's going tomorrow. Check him out. So I believe it's 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Yep.
He'll definitely be talking about Tesla for all those people who want to answer those questions. And then last thing, I know there's a ton of questions we didn't get to. That's why you're part of the Chaos Crew. We dedicate a whole segment or a whole show on Fridays to Q&A, and we always answer the questions we have within the community tab. So join the crew. I know we've been saying it, but it's really like you can't beat the value of that. Ain't that right, my Bulls and my Bears?
That's right. Hit the join button if you want to be a part of that, guys. Again, we get a daily watch list with that. You get access to my portfolio and daily changes to that as well as breakdowns on the trades that I made. And if you want to be a part of that, click the join button. Would love to have you guys. And that's the show. So thanks so much for hanging out. We're at 233 likes. We got over 543 people in here. You guys are awesome. Another solid Stock Watch Sunday. Get the likes up to help support the channel if you got value out of tonight's stream. And we'll see you Tuesday. As always, folks, we'll see you all before the bell. B. Smith, Fat Man Zoom, we're out. See ya.
I love my people.
Let me know what you think about the surprise earnings as well. Were you in... Why do I keep saying Do I say that all the time, or is it just today? I feel like I'm saying a lot more often today. I don't know what the deal is. It has just... Yos. It re... and How many times can I say I back, which is a... for every... 12 release. Because if you're... One thing that I have noticed more than... Chicago. Farts are funny. I don't care who you are. Cash card spend was up 50% with the cash balances stored in accounts, which is 86% higher. Blah, 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 blah. That is a tongue twister. Why did I do that to myself? PewDiePie getting my notifications. Come on, man. Yes, I got it. Try that again. Boom. Whoop. Got it. Thanks, guys. It might just be chaotic. But that being said, we have a lot. I can't believe I said that being said again. You know how many times people give me a hard time for that? All right, let's start over. Okay, so a little bit different today. We'll be talking about switching brokerages and all that good stuff, but it's so nice outside. I gotta take a walk, so we're gonna do this. Hopefully people, I don't know, whatever. Anyways, we're gonna do this, all right? Okay, I'm gonna stop, and I'm gonna try to get out here in the water a little bit, because it's gorgeous out there. Look at that. The water. You probably can't see it too well. That's all right. I'm just gonna have to let you go. That's fine. Let's do it that way. There's like huge freaking knot on this log that I'm sitting on, but I want to make sure I get a good shot. All right. I also want to make sure I don't look like a big old badass either. The camera, it adds like 15 pounds or so. That's what I hear. Not only that, but does this news actually mean that your remote work stocks are actually going to be in trouble? So I'll give you those answers as well. But let's go ahead and take a look at the news here. And the company reported that... But not only... So yes, I'm still leaning in heavenly. Yeah. So yes, I'm still leading. TJX certainly will be something that you would not want to own. We're gonna get it. Now, TJS. Penn right now has its. Leave me a comment if you think they'll move forward with this one. Give us something to look forward to, SEC. Penn is sitting at $52.36 as of this recording, and if sports Ah, no, I don't want to do that. Ouch. That hurt. All right. Let me go back. Broker, catch this video here. Guys, please like and subscribe. And as always, I will see you all before the bell. MB Smith is out. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but